Hey everyone, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please be sure to follow and leave a 5-star rating. Okay, folks, we have to start with Michael Saylor, who is now becoming a flat out liar. So he was on stage at an event and he said, I never said strategy would never sell its Bitcoin. That is, of course, a flat out lie because this man is talking as though the internet doesn't exist. There are tons of videos and articles out there which show his statements where he says strategy will never sell. So now he's lying because recently he had to sell some Bitcoin. Now, I want to make sure I'm clear. I don't have a problem with strategy selling Bitcoin. They sold 32 Bitcoin, right? You're going to see a lot of Saylor apologists and ass kissers and strategy stockholders are going to try to conflate some things and say, oh, you're crying about 32 Bitcoin. No one's crying about 32 Bitcoin. What we're saying is this man's a charlatan. He's lying because he was for years telling people, mortgage your house, sell your kidney, buy Bitcoin. We will never sell. Now he's trying, instead of being upfront and saying, hey, look, we have to pivot a bit for our strategy. I know in the past I've said, not to sell, but we're not dumping all our bags. We're just going to have to do some selling along the way. It's important to be upfront and honest. He's not doing that. He's saying, I never said I was going to sell Bitcoin. You guys are idiots. This guy's a charlatan and he's really giving me con man vibes here. But let me play the clip for you so you can hear it directly from the horse's mouth.
And I refused to do it because a troll on Twitter said, hey, you said never sell your Bitcoin. Like, okay, fine, I'll destroy $100 billion company so that I don't sell my Bitcoin. Well, the point is, I said to you, never sell your Bitcoin. I never said that the company wouldn't sell his Bitcoin. And anybody that's been listening to our earnings calls or reading our disclosures or has half a brain knows for the last 5 years, we've been very clear that of course we sell the Bitcoin if we have to.
So there you have it, straight up lie. And he's getting called out big time on social media. I can't believe some Bitcoin investors worship this guy. It's pathetic. It's cultish. And again, he's giving me con man vibes. But this is why you don't blindly follow people. You don't worship people. You always have to think for yourself and do your own research, right, guys? I've often said, don't just take my word as gospel. Do your own research, right? If I'm doing something wrong or I said something, you got to call me out. And I'm open to accountability. So this guy's pathetic, man. And I hope that he stops being the face of Bitcoin in the corporate world because it's not good for the industry and it just makes us all look bad. And again, he's starting to go on this lying tour, if you want to call it that. And it's just making us all look bad because of the public face that he has, the amount of followers and much more. And of course, like I said, guys, there's tons of articles out there. There's even articles that aggregate the many times he said strategy would never sell. Just be honest. Just tell us what you're doing and stop with the BS. Now, let's move forward. We got some more Bitcoin news. $14 trillion BlackRock files 8A form for its Bitcoin Premium Income ETF, which typically means a launch in 1 week, according to Bloomberg's senior ETF analyst Eric Balchunas. So BlackRock continues to build products around Bitcoin and other assets. And this one's going to be big because if they're adding yield and they're able to generate income, that's going to be a major competitor to what Michael Saylor's strategy is doing. And I think that's a good thing. Again, we don't want Saylor to continue to be the face of Bitcoin. We need this to be more decentralized in a sense of people having access. And I think ETFs are the way to go. And there are multiple ETF filers on Wall Street, Fidelity and others, right? So this is really good. And let's see, it might get launched this week, guys. Moving ahead, Hungary, the country of Hungary, to decriminalize Bitcoin and crypto trading, Bloomberg reports. So I didn't even know they had it criminalized. But, we've been talking about it for years, guys, that any country that bans this crypto asset class and this technology, they're writing their economic death sentence because the future economies, governments, and capital markets are going to run on blockchain rails. So it's really dumb if you're trying to do this. And I think those who are laggards, they're going to get cooked if they don't do this, like unban it, right? So Hungary will decriminalize crypto trading in a reversal of restrictions introduced under former leader Viktor Orban. Hungary last year tightened rules for crypto asset conversions, requiring approved validation for crypto to fiat and crypto to crypto transactions and attaching potential jail terms to violations. Talk about draconian, guys. So, but it's great to see that it's going to revert. So, very bullish across the globe. We are seeing the full embrace of crypto. And speaking of the embrace of crypto, Visa says it has moved $7 billion annually in stablecoins through its network, announcing stablecoin settlement expansion, tokenized deposits, and a partnership with OpenAI to enable AI agent payments. Yesterday, we talked about the big news with MasterCard and what they're doing with a network of companies like Coinbase, Ripple, and much more to expand AI agent payments and all those things, and the competitor doing the same thing. So the competition's on, folks. The race is on here between the payment companies, credit card companies, banks, stock exchanges, and more. It is amazing to watch this all play out. And speaking of stablecoins, Ripple and Bitso expand their partnership, bringing Bitso's MXN-backed stablecoin MXNB to the XRP Ledger to power enterprise stablecoin settlement across Latin America. So we've often talked about, if you have a stablecoin, you need partners, you need a network effect, you need to get adoption. So Bitso and Ripple, they've been working together for a long time. So this comes as no surprise, but it's amazing how the rails are being built here, guys. This is why I am bullish long term. I know right now the prices are crap. I'm with you. My portfolio is down, but markets are cyclical, and you got to have that macro view to see that we are going to come out the bear market. And I've been saying we get legislation passed with all these on ramps that never existed before from TradFi. It kicks off the super cycle, in my opinion. Now, Masspay taps Coinbase to expand stablecoin payouts. So, cross-border payout platform Masspay and Coinbase announced a partnership on Thursday to offer stablecoin cross-border payouts. The partnership connects Masspay's network in 180 countries with the US-based exchange's crypto infrastructure, allowing customers to move between fiat, USDC, and other digital asset, the company said in a joint statement shared with Cointelegraph. Guys, again, the rails, the infrastructure being set up here for the future economy, which is going to be tokenized deposits, stable coins, I think CBDCs as well, which many of you know I'm not really a big fan of, but look, it's the inevitable thing that's happening. The best we can do is make sure the government at least maintains our rights to privacy with it. Plus, you're going to have tokenized assets, stocks, gold, crypto, real estate, much more. So that is where we're headed to. Moving ahead, Stellar Development Foundation has unveiled a quantum preparedness plan to migrate all XLM token accounts to quantum resistant signatures by the end of 2027 while preserving existing addresses and transaction history. Folks, this is so important. Quantum is coming. I don't believe it's an immediate threat, but it's going to be a threat later on. So we're seeing a lot of these blockchains. They're upgrading their wallets. They're upgrading their technology and computers and much more. And I'm not worried of like quantum is going to destroy blockchain, because if quantum is a thing, then banks, the air traffic control system, all the things that within our civilization and society is going to be at more threat than blockchains, which use encryption and cryptography, right? Don't get me wrong, there will be quantum technology that's going to be very strong to break some of these blockchains, not all, but some. But this is where they have to have that resistance strategy, and I love that Stellar is doing this. Now, I recently interviewed Danelle Dixon, CEO of the Stellar Development Foundation. So that interview is going to be published soon. We talked about this in detail and all the great things that are being built on the Stellar blockchain. Now, we got news around Canton Network. Many of you know I hold this in my portfolio. I'm bullish on it. Canton Network developer raises $355 million to bring Wall Street on chain. So the company Digital Assets, that's their name, Digital Assets. They are the developers of the Canton Network, and they continue to raise a lot of capital, man. This is incredible. So the investment was led by A16Z with participation of global institutions, including ABM, AMRO, Apollo Funds, BNP Paribas, Citadel Securities, HSBC, SBI Group, and the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority through a subsidiary. Guys, pay attention to this project. I told y'all even before they launch your token, pay attention to this project. There are big time backers. I interviewed Yuval Ruz, who's the CEO of Digital Asset, and man, they're backed by Wall Street. So look, I'm not telling you to go and invest in a token, not financial advice, do your own research, but I'm telling you, this is one, go research it, is what I'm telling you. Go pay attention to what's happening here. So the amount raised beat the target of $300 million at a $2 billion valuation that was reported last month. So, guys, big time capital coming in the bear market. Do you think they're bearish or they're bullish? You think about it. Put your thinking cap on. What about what's happening here? Look at when they're buying. Blood on the streets. This token is not at some major price or just pumped to all-time high, right? It's in the bear market. It's down with every altcoin. So this is where I'm backing the truck up, adding this more to my portfolio, I should say. Folks, quick word from our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by Bitgo, the trusted infrastructure behind the digital asset economy. If you're serious about crypto, whether you're an investor, institution, or building in this space, you already know security, compliance, and execution are everything. And that's exactly what Bitgo delivers. With over a decade of experience and 5,500 plus institutional clients across 100 plus countries, Bitgo provides a full suite of services, including qualified custody, trading, staking, financing, and stablecoin infrastructure, all in one platform. Let's break it down. Want to launch crypto services fast? Bitgo's crypto as a service lets banks, fintechs, and platforms go live in as little as a couple of months without dealing with complex licensing or infrastructure. If you're looking to launch a stablecoin, Bitgo offers a complete stablecoin as a service platform from reserves and smart contracts to compliance, built to align with the new US regulatory framework that is the Genius Act. Want to earn rewards on your crypto? Bitgo runs one of the largest institutional staking platforms with tens of billions staked across 50 plus networks, all while your assets stay securely in qualified custody. Need deep liquidity and execution? Their trading platform aggregates liquidity across 30 plus venues, giving you better pricing and the ability to trade directly from custody. No pre-funding required for approved clients. And if you need capital, Bitgo offers crypto-backed financing, so you can unlock liquidity without selling your assets. So here's the bottom line. Bitgo is one of the first federally chartered digital asset infrastructure companies offering regulated, insured custody and a platform built for institutions, but accessible to forward-thinking players across the space. So whether you're scaling a fintech, managing a fund, or building the future of finance, Bitgo gives you all the tools that you need to do this securely, compliantly, and at scale. So learn more at bitgo.com and see why the biggest players in crypto trust Bitgo.
All right, so Fortune magazine has released its first ever Crypto 100 with BlackRock topping ETFs, Franklin Templeton including TradFi, Coinbase ruling CFI, and Hyperliquid taking the top spot in DeFi. This is really cool. We are now seeing a full category being built out for crypto that, you see these things for TradFi. So just shows the asset class, the industry is growing. And as I've been saying, we get crypto legislation passed, the Clarity Act passed into law. We will kick off that super cycle. So we're still relatively early to other asset classes. Now, Citi Bank launches blockchain marketplace for private company shares. Folks, many of you may recall I interviewed Ryan Rugg, head of digital assets at Citi Bank about a month ago. If you haven't seen that interview, you got to check it out. We talked a lot about this. They're all in on tokenization. They're doing tokenized deposits, and look, they're going to do private company shares. This is the future, guys. Companies are not going to go IPO in the traditional way that we see, like SpaceX is about to do an IPO in the traditional way. Well, once the infrastructure is in place, they're going to do it on chain, guys. That's where we're headed. So Citigroup is launching a blockchain-based marketplace for private company shares, looking to give wealthy and institutional investors a new way to gain exposure to pre-IPO firms as Wall Street pushes deeper into tokenized finance. According to the Wall Street Journal, the platform will use tokenized depository receipts issued by Citi, which represent ownership interests in private companies. The offering will initially be available to foreign investors with U.S. access planned at a later date. The initiative allows investors to invest in private company shares right next to their Apple stock, Citi digital asset executive Artem Korenyuk told the Journal. Incredible what is being built, folks. I hope you see it. I hope you see what's happening and look at when they're building it in the bear market, right? They're not focused on price right now. They know that's going to come. They're building the infrastructure for this asset class. Now we got some news from around the globe. South Korean consumer electronics giant LG Electronics is launching a blockchain-based network for buying and selling ads per Fortune magazine. So blockchain is going to be applied in different models, different industries, different verticals. So don't be surprised if you work in a certain industry, blockchain starts to pop up, guys. So the buying and selling of ads, on websites, on TV, radio, whatever it may be, that's all going to be blockchain powered, and it's going to be more efficient, cutting out a lot of middlemen, and you're going to have more accuracy. I think costs are going to go down as well. So blockchain is going to make a lot of things more efficient. Now, Japan plans to bring crypto under stock style rules to support market growth. So Japan's parliament is poised to pass sweeping bill to regulate crypto-like stocks. So the new rules are expected to come into effect in 2027, aimed to foster innovation and crypto market growth to meet internal and external demand for digital asset services. So again, going back to my thesis, the super cycle. What do you think is going to happen when all these major countries, of course, the United States being the top of that list, pass legislation and all these folks who have been waiting on the sidelines with trillions start to come in? What do you think is going to happen? These blockchain valuations are going to go up, their prices, and much more, guys. So I'm really excited for that. Now, Avalanche Treasury Company will begin trading on Nasdaq under the ticker AVAX. So this is a digital asset treasury company that has AVAX on its balance sheet. I hold AVAX in my portfolio. I remember interviewing the CEO of Avalanche. I believe his name is Bart Smith. So we are seeing more and more of these pop up, and they're another avenue for these assets to be purchased outside of ETFs, the traditional way of just buying them on exchanges. So this is really great to see. All right, folks, final news item. U.S. House bill would erect crypto theft task force across law enforcement agencies. So this is really great, guys, because you need to go after the bad actors, right? As this asset class grows and the adoption of technology grows, a lot of criminals are going to try to use that, right? Just like they did with the internet or any other technology. So crypto theft from criminal fraud and hacking would be the jurisdiction of a new U.S. cross-agency task force contemplated in a bipartisan bill introduced on Thursday, backed by well-placed lawmakers in the U.S. House of Representatives. The Federal Cryptocurrency Theft Task Force would be led by the U.S. Attorney General, according to bill text reviewed by Coindesk, and it would involve the Department of Justice, FBI, Department of Homeland Security, and Treasury Department, among others. Folks, this is great. You need a dedicated agency as they have here because it's so much happening in crypto. It is so complex when you have DeFi, CeFi, you have airdrops, you got meme coins, you got this wallet, self-custodial wallets. There's so many things here, and the innovation is going to continue that you need to have a dedicated agency that can help enforce the law, right? And I think once the Clarity Act is passed, they will have their marching orders. And look, I don't think they necessarily need the Clarity Act to go after people who just stole something, but the Clarity Act will help give some more guidance and kind of the marching orders for these agencies. So this is really great, and I'm sure this is something that's going to be pushed through once the Clarity Act has been passed. So very, very great news here. Folks, let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't as yet. Please support the podcast by subscribing to my free email newsletter. It's 100% free on Substack. Check out my book on Amazon. Grab a copy. It's available in paperback and digital. And if you want to expand your knowledge about crypto and blockchain tech, I have a course. Go to mycryptocourse.com. It's a comprehensive course that teaches you everything you need to know. And right now we got a big bear market sale going on. Use the code BEAR, BEAR, at checkout to get 50% off the price of the course. So check it out. That's a limited time offer. So if you want to learn about all the ins and outs, this is the course for you. It features expert commentary. No other course offers that. So folks, go to mycryptocourse.com. All the links will be in the description. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.